Hey guys, it's that time again, our way too early AFC predictions.
Let's do it. I'm Caesar.
I'm Brian, and this is Bohemian Gents. So guys, we're going to kick off with last year's standings. We're going to go from worst to best. So, in lonely last place, we had the Bengals. Joe Burrow had a good start to his career, but went down like a tree log. And then we got the Browns, aka the shit stains. And then we have the Ravens. And then we have the winners of last year, the Steelers.
That honestly still surprises me.
Yeah, I don't know how they came away with that. Lamar, you got some.
Then they also started off like 12-0, 11-0, something like that.
They had such a weak schedule where every team they played either had COVID players not available or regular injuries or rescheduling. It was just chaotic.
Last year was interesting.
So start us off. Who do you have in last place this year?
Sorry, Joe Burrow. I love you as a player, but you're not doing that much better this year. Reports are he is pretty fragile, especially with his knee. He's super protective of his knee, which is, understandable. Yeah. But I don't know how he's going to do with his psyche this year. I don't have the Bengals maybe 4 or 5 win team.
Yeah. So I agree. I think they're going to be in last place. I think they will end up with the number 2 overall pick. I think they'll have the second worst overall record in the NFL. We'll cover who last place is going to be in a little bit. But I think Joe's going to be smoking on some cigars in January and February watching the playoffs from home. And that's going to lead us to who I have in third place. Sorry, Steelers, you ain't winning the division again. Your receivers are angry and unhappy. Your running game is non-existent. Big Ben, do you want to play football, bro? The only thing you guys have going for you is that defense. But you need to score points to win. Who do you have in third this year?
So I'm right there with you. That steel curtain is going to be pretty fragile this year. I have him in third place in this division. No faith in Big Ben. Loved him. I remember watching him win the Super Bowl against the Cardinals with that pass at the corner against Santonio Holmes, I believe it was. So, big fan of Big Ben and what he's done in his career, but a couple years too far. Should have stayed out, but I do think they're in a pretty tough cap situation this year. So, it's kind of more of a reload year for them. They're kind of just taking an L this year and trying to bounce back next year, even though they'll never admit it. But who do you have winning the division?
I got the Ravens. Lamar, please don't let me down. Please have a comeback year. You can't have an up and down year this year, dude. Everyone's counting on you. You are the leader of the team. Everyone treats you with the respect that you've earned in the regular season. But just stay consistent and stay healthy, bro. Don't get COVID the third time because you will forfeit some wins. And we do not want that because I got my money on you. And that obviously is going to happen the Browns. And second for me, I think they'll be able to leapfrog the Steelers this year.
Gotcha. So I actually see that backwards. I actually have the Browns winning the AFC North this year. I do think they're going to be a pretty solid overall team. I think they have enough offensive weapons to make some noise in that division. Their defense is solid enough. I think they did lose some players this year, but I do think they'll still be solid enough with some good coaching that they've had over the last year that we saw from their head coach. I do think they'll kind of carry that momentum and actually win the AFC North this year, with the Ravens being on their heels every step of the way. I would not be surprised if the Ravens lead the division throughout the whole year and then maybe lose it in the last week or two in terms of the number 1 spot for the AFC, for the AFC North. But kind of where I'm at in that one.
And I really get what you're talking about because the Browns have such a scary defensive and offensive line. and you win games in the trenches. Plus, you have Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt as your two lead running backs. That team is super scary. The only reason I have the Ravens edging them out a little bit as a team, I think they're a little bit more mature. I think the Browns might have a couple games where some unsportsmanlike conduct penalties will come back to bite them in the butt.
Myles Garrett?
Yeah, well, not even Myles Garrett. They just play with a lot of motion, but they also are always hurt in their secondary. Their secondary is always hurt, which is why I have them in that second place. But again, very scary team. They're built just like the Colts are, and I think a team with a great offensive and defensive line and a running game makes it very, very far in the NFL, even though the running back position has been highly undervalued.
Gotcha. One thing I kind of want to throw out there as a dark horse player is Odell Beckham Jr. He is still on the Browns.
Yeah.
And I think he is humbled and he is going to be committed to putting up big numbers. Because I think at this point he's a forgotten player in this league. He had that spectacular catch and never followed up on it. So I think having pretty much a year off after this injury, not being the main focus on the offense anymore, is going to allow him to explode this upcoming year. But
I don't know, man. Hard work always outshines talent.
That's what I'm saying. I think he's going to put in the hard work this year.
We'll see. Now, the best division, in my opinion. I'm a little biased. We're going to start with the team that had
not even
the
close to the best division, guys.
We're going to start with the team that had the number 1 overall pick last year, and that was the Jaguars, who finished in dead last. Followed by the Texans, who came in third. We had my Colts finish in second, and then we had the Titans, who won the division.
Okay.
Who do you have coming in last place this year?
I have the Texans as the last place team. I don't think Deshaun Watson will take the field this year. I think latest reports are he's gonna play, but I do think with everything that's going on, it's kind of been forgotten at this point. But he still has those lawsuits against him. So I think the Texans are definitely going to be vying for the number 1 pick.
Yeah, that's who I had as the team with the worst record.
I do think they're going to be vying for that. So I have the Texans at the bottom of the division.
Yeah, I agree. In a perfect world where Deshaun Watson plays for the Texans, and I'm not saying he should or he shouldn't until all the legal stuff gets sorted out. But even if he did play, they haven't had a first-round pick in like 5-6 years.
Oh, yeah.
They've traded away like every first-round pick they've had for overrated players.
Yeah, I mean,
they got rid of Hopkins for nothing for a David Johnson who wasn't even David Johnson anymore.
No, yeah.
There's just no depth. Their front office is a joke. They don't know who to promote, who to keep, who not to fire, when to fire someone.
Agreed.
They're going to be coming in dead last. And I think this franchise is not going to be nowhere near a playoff contender for probably a decade. That's how bad I see this team right now.
I think they're the next Browns. I think we're going to see...
next Browns, Jaguars.
Yeah. I do think they're in that kind of position right now.
Speaking of the Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence, I got you in third place in the division, brother. It's probably going to be the first time you're going to have multiple losses in your career. Welcome to the NFL.
Now probably going to have multiple losses in the first 2 weeks.
Yes.
But I also have the Jags in third place for this division. I don't think they'll be a laughing stock team.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
I do think they'll be competitive in their games. But Urban Meyer, he has a lot of experience at the collegiate level, but winning at the NFL level is different.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to go through a pretty heavy learning curve in terms of those last-minute decisions, how to edge out a game. So I think they'll be in some close games, 17, 15 games, something like that, 2017 games, where they're losing on last-minute field goal teams. I have them as maybe a 6, maybe 7-win team.
Which would honestly be a great first year for them.
I agree.
The thing with Urban Myers is he's never coached men, and he's never coached men with money. He's always coaching boys from bad, neighborhoods, bad systems who want to get out. He also was not the best with discipline. Those '07 to like 2011 Florida teams, how many felonies were on those rosters that they were covering up? It's going to be pretty difficult, I think, for Urban Meyer to really control this team and motivate them and connect with them. And yeah, winning in the NFL is hard. Who's the greatest collegiate coach ever? Probably Nick Saban. Losing record in the NFL. He would never come back to the NFL.
Agreed.
People have tried. He knows how hard it is. But with that said, yes, I do see them as like a 6-7 win team.
I do have a question for you here because I don't know off the top of my head. Do they have a young roster, or are they an older roster right now?
They have a young roster because a lot of the players that they had that had talent and experience all pretty much requested trades. They were not happy in the Doug Marrone system. So like the Calais Campbells, the Jalen Ramseys, they are gone. You do have AJ Bouye, the DB, who was a part of that team. You got a young Miles Jack, but overall, like they're a young team, which is kind of what would bomb them to get them up to like that 6 win.
And that was one thing that I wanted to kind of, the reason why I was asking is because I do think it's going to be very reminiscent of Pete Carroll, because he has a reputation for being able to coach up the young guys.
Yeah.
But once the team gets older, he struggles. They have to cut the older guys, reload.
He kind of loses the locker room the older the players are.
Yeah, because his tactics are very much tailored towards younger players and things like that. So
He tries to be your father, but 32, 33-year-old men with children of their own don't need a father.
Exactly. Who do you have winning the division?
Indianapolis, baby, the Colts. Again, I'm biased, but they also have a track record. If Carson Wentz plays at 70% and is healthy throughout the season, I see us as an 11-6, 12-5 win team. We have a 4-headed monster at running back. We have the best offensive line in the NFL. We have a good, young, athletic D-line, and we got the best middle linebacker in the NFL with Darius Leonard. I think our biggest weakness will be a consistent, healthy wide receiver and defensive back bunch. But I do see us winning the division with the Titans in second.
Taking all of the bias out of what you just said, yes, the Colts have a very good roster. However, I do think Wentz is going to be out for at least a month, if not more.
They're saying he should be ready by week 1 with his foot injury.
We'll see how that goes. I do think that with that quarterback position being uncertain, they're going to get off to a rocky start.
Yeah.
And we know exactly what we're getting from the Titans.
Yeah.
They have Julio Jones now. They still have Derrick Henry.
They got Brown. AJ Brown.
Can't remember his name right now to save my life. Their quarterback.
Ryan
Tannehill. Solid NFL quarterback, middle of the pack quarterback. Is going to manage the games perfectly for them. So I do think the Titans are going to take the division again this year because we know exactly what we're getting from them. And again, similar to kind of the Browns-Ravens situations with the AFC North, it's not going to be a 4 or 5 game division. It'll be up in the air up until the last week or two in terms of who's going to be winning that division. But I do think the Titans will edge out the Colts in the last week or two.
I still think it was ridiculous that they had the same record last year, and the Colts had a higher point of margin in their victories against the Titans, but yet the Titans still got the division.
It's not the point margin; it's who you beat and when you beat them.
I know the strength of schedule. I understand that, but still, with that close of a tiebreaker, I think it should have gone to the team that won more decisively.
All right. Well, clearly the Titans were not a mistake there. They did pretty good last year. But we can kind of move on so that we get out of your biased situations. You can kick off the AFC East.
Man. Again, Phillip Rivers, come on, bro. You got to be able to throw the ball more than 10 feet. he cost us a game against last year's first place Bills. But the Jets were the division losers for the AFC East. We had a Patriots team that nobody really showed up to play for. Finishing third. And we had a young, exciting, defensively led Dolphins surprise us in second place. With that being said about the Dolphins, let's move on to what we think will play out this season.
So, I guess I'll kick this one off.
Yeah.
As the number one loser, we have the Jets, Jets. Sorry, Zach Wilson. I think you are the next Johnny Manziel. You're going to be a bust.
Really?
I don't think he's going to pan out.
I wouldn't say Johnny Manziel.
Well, the comparisons have been made. I think he's very similar in that type of play. He's going to be running around trying to make the play. They're a terribly coached team.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to have a very lesser performance year, and they might be up in contention for the number one pick next year again, or number two pick. They'll be up there in the top three.
Yeah, I see them top 3 to 5.
I would not be surprised if they're after a quarterback again next time.
No, I don't see them going after a new quarterback. I will say the fact that they no longer have Adam Gase as their head coach is definitely a huge
Agreed.
step forward in the right direction. Adam Gase was probably the worst coach that was in the NFL that any team could have hired, let alone for Sam Darnold. Now with the Jets, they're in a new direction. They have a good young offensive line that they're spending high draft picks in. The wide receivers, if there's enough time to protect the quarterback and he's not scrambling for his life, even your average NFL receiver will make a good impact if he's a starter. I don't see them getting many wins. I probably see them as a 5-win team out of 17.
That's pretty high if you're asking me.
I do still see them coming in last. I think it's going to be like a dead last in the AFC East, because after them, I have the Pats at least as an 8-win team, but still in third place in the division.
Gotcha. So I actually have the Dolphins as my third place team. I don't believe in Tua. I think he is a subpar quarterback. I think he was a product of his wide receivers at Alabama. He kind of got put into a position when he led the second half comeback in that national championship, where it was you couldn't fail. Nobody expected anything from you. So I think he was definitely a product of the Alabama wide receivers and of Nick Saban. I don't think he's going to be more than a bottom tier quarterback in the NFL, unfortunately. I do think they're an overall strong team. So they're going to be a strong third place team in the division, but still in third place.
So I have them as my second place team, but I also don't have them with Tua being the starting quarterback the entire season. I think Jacoby Brissett will take over at some point as their starting quarterback. He's proven time and time and again when he gets an opportunity that he can be a top 15 to 20 quarterback in the NFL. And if Jacoby Brissett has that defense that the Dolphins had all of last year, I can see them being in second place in this division in the AFC East. With that being said, I do have the Bills just
pretty obvious,
just easily walking through this division. What about yourself?
Same. Bills, obvious number one. Josh Allen is my preseason MVP pick right now. I do think he's going to earn every cent of that contract that he just signed. I think he's not on Mahomes' level yet.
No.
But I think he's trending in the right direction and could be rivaling Mahomes in a couple of years, depending on how he continues to develop. But that's a conversation for a different time. I do have that puts the Patriots in second place for me.
Yeah.
I do think Mac Jones will end up taking over the starting position. And I think while Mac Jones is not a great quarterback, he is perfect for the Bill Belichick system.
He's a system quarterback.
Exactly. So I think there'll be a 10-win team, 9-10-win team, somewhere in that range, maybe 11 if they can steal a game on the road or something like that. But definitely the Bills gonna easily carry through this division, with the records being closer than what they are really gonna mean between them and the Patriots. I think they'll be a lot better team, even though there might only be a 2 or 3 game difference between them.
Speaking of Mahomes, hey, who won the AFC West last year?
The Chiefs.
Oh man, and it wasn't even close.
Nope.
Who was in second place? Was it the Broncos? Was it the Chargers?
Does it matter?
Was it the Raiders? It didn't even matter because none of them were above 500. But last place were the Broncos, followed by a young, resilient Chargers squad who won like 4 of the last. Well, they won the last 4 games of the season. They ended the season on a 4-game winning streak.
Herbert, man.
And they got Herbert. He looks electrifying. And then you have the Raiders who could not stay on the straight and narrow path. One week they were going to the right, the next week to the left, the third week backwards. It was just a miserable time to be a Raider fan, but when is it not?
Right?
Oh, I feel so sorry for you guys. With all of that being said, who do you have in last place in the AFC West this year?
For the AFC West, I have the Broncos. I don't really see them doing much this year in terms of their defense. Von Miller, older now, not really going to carry that defense anymore. Their quarterback room is very uncertain. They have the youngish quarterback,
Drew Lock. He has a rocket of an arm.
That's all he has.
He's so inaccurate.
Yeah. Throw it up and close your eyes and pray. That's kind of what you're getting there.
And besides him, they have Teddy Bridgewater, which, again, we just saw what he did in Carolina.
Yeah, I mean, I think Teddy's going to end up being the quarterback for most of their games, if not all of them, if not a good majority of them.
I have Drew Lock winning that quarterback battle. I think Drew starts the season, loses the position to Bridgewater by like week 4, but has it back by like week 7, and the entire coaching staff gets fired at the end of the season. Just based on the history of the NFL and what happened.
It's an entirely possible situation on there. Who do you have as the third place team?
Hey, Raiders. Third place is going to be your home this year, even in Vegas. David Carr, Megamind. You're not a good quarterback. You're going to waste having Josh Jacobs on your team. They didn't re-sign Nelson Aguilar. I don't know how you let him leave. He had a great year. You have Darren Waller. That's a good bright side for Raiders fans. Go out and buy his jersey before he becomes irrelevant in a year or 2. But yeah, the Raiders, third place. I don't see you guys over 500. Gruden should have stayed in the ESPN booth. Mayock, go back to NFL, bro. To the NFL film studio. You're not a GM. You miss on like every draft prospect. Have fun at third.
A lot of resentment there. I really don't know why. There's a lot of Raider resentment there. I think I should have more Raider resentment as a Saints fan and what they did to us last year. But I do have the Raiders in third place as well. I won't be as personal as he was, but yeah.
Don't take offense to it. It's sports. I'm just messing around, okay?
Raiders fans, comment why he's wrong. But I don't think that you guys are probably right where you are. Maybe take a small step back. I like Derek Carr. I think David Carr was a better.
Derek.
But yeah, I don't think he is. He's a sub middle of the par, that 15 to 20 tier quarterback. So unfortunately, won't be able to do much this year for the Raiders. Another bad year for Gruden. As much as I like Gruden, I don't think he'll be
XY Spider Banana 2 said, huh?
Yeah. I'll kind of keep going here. I think the winner of the division is pretty obvious.
The Chargers? I'm just kidding.
Wrong CH team, but no, yeah, I think the Chiefs are gonna be a pretty clear winner in this division. But speaking of the Chargers, I do think they're gonna be a very competitive team this year. Herbert is gonna light this league up. I do not expect a rookie slump, sophomore slump from him.
No.
I think he's gonna continue right where he left off, and I do think he's gonna carry that team to at least 9 or 10 wins.
Yeah, Hunter Henry's gone. He's a good, reliable tight end. But hey, don't forget, you got Keenan Allen on the side. And I think Keenan Allen's going to be a highly productive wide receiver this year with Herbert throwing him the ball.
No, definitely agreed. I think that's a pretty simple division overall.
Yeah.
I think
it's the easiest division.
I do think that was a pretty easy division in terms of kind of where everyone lands, especially with your Raider hate in there. But who do you have as the overall number one team for the AFC?
I believe I have the Bills.
Oh, okay, so you have...
No, my apologies. I have the Chiefs. Sorry, yeah, I have the Chiefs being the number one seed.
No, I believe you do have the Bills, sir.
Oh, I do. Bills. I'm riding with you. Bills Mafia. Let's go.
So, I am a Bills Mafia myself. You guys heard me say Josh Allen for MVP. But I think Chiefs will have a little bit of an easier road overall. So
yeah, I can see the Chargers stealing the game.
So I do think that the Chiefs will once again be the top seed in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
But the Bills are going to be a strong team in that AFC division. But
guys, if you can go to one NFL stadium of an opposing team, Buffalo in December, it's gorgeous. Bills Mafia, the fans are super cool. If you get the opportunity, I know it's kind of tough with COVID restrictions. If your team plays Buffalo, go check them out. It's a beautiful stadium. It's a beautiful city. I highly recommend it. And yeah, I'm not a Bills fan. I'm a Colts fan. But I just really highly recommend it. And you get to see Josh Allen potentially in an MVP season.
Definitely agree with that. It's on my bucket list in terms of stadiums to check out. But that pretty much wraps up the AFC. We have an NFC video as well. So if you guys haven't seen that one, go ahead and check that one out. And then we are going to be coming out with a playoff prediction bracket here fairly soon as well. So stay tuned for that one. Make sure to like and subscribe. And thanks for watching, guys.
Stay horseshoe strong. Bye, Colts fans. Peace out.
See you guys.